What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and this is your stimulus check update, your fourth stimulus check update, your monthly reoccurring stimulus check update, as we have some new updates on that federal stimulus check that might go out. We now have word that there are 3 million signatures in the United States of America supporting a petition for monthly reoccurring $2,000 stimulus checks. Now, I'm going to be diving into some articles, get you caught up on the latest, because there's a lot of information that's starting to pop up here, and I think there's a lot of misinformation too, because I get a ton of comments from people that I actually feel bad for, because I think they're just misinformed and they're angry and they say stuff like this.
No stimulus check is coming. Don't get your hopes up.
There is no mention of more stimulus. Quit believing and subscribing to this clickbait.
You need to quit lying to people. There is not one shred of a fourth stimulus. Stop your lies. Nothing was passed. Clickbait.
And you know, in all seriousness though, I actually feel bad for these people because I think that they're getting misinformation from various sources, and I just want to make sure that you guys get accurate information here on the channel. Look, regardless of whether there's going to be a fourth stimulus check or not, I just want to make sure that I'm providing you guys information and sources so that way you know that it's actually legitimate and not just stuff that I'm making up. And just to address that last one, that actually, they're actually confused. There actually was a bill passed in the House of Representatives last week with Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi for the first part of the infrastructure package for physical traditional infrastructure. And this second portion is where we could see more stimulus for people. They're calling it the second portion for human infrastructure, which is essentially going to be a stimulus package. And if we have a fourth stimulus check, it's likely going to be in that second part. But regardless of whether there is one or there isn't, I'll just be sure to report to you guys and give you the latest information. And now that it has passed in the House, we're going to see if it goes to the Senate and passes or dies, and regardless, I'll keep you guys up to date. And I just want to clarify, right now I get questions every single day, is there going to be a fourth stimulus? To which I have to answer, we just have to wait and see. At this point, we don't know yet. And if anybody comes on and says there will be a fourth stimulus check, or they say there won't be a fourth stimulus check, and we know this for a fact, I believe that they are misinformed or maybe confused, because we have seen in the past that when stimulus packages, there's packages with all these provisions that can help out people, even the day before they're passed into law can still get provisions slipped in. We actually saw that with the second stimulus check, where it got slipped in literally days before it passed into law. So you guys, we are just not far along enough yet to know for certain. Now, at this point in time, the proposal that is currently on the table does not have it included. However, there are 20 other individual proposals floating around for provisions that they do want to include, some of which are fourth stimulus checks. So you guys, like I said, I'm just going to dive into the latest so that way you guys know what's going on, get you caught up as of today, July 6, 2021, and give you all the sources, links in the description below so you know I'm not making this stuff up. So let's dive in. I'm going to get you caught up. But before we do, if you could do me a quick favor, if you like and appreciate these updates, don't forget to take a second to just smash that like button, leave your comments, and share this out to anybody that you think might need to see it. Those simple gestures just take a second. They help out my channel a lot. Thank you so much. And if this is your first time here, come and join the viewing community. Come and join the Ram fam. I'll keep you up to date on all these topics. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and if you got any specific questions for me, be sure to shoot them to me in the DM on Instagram at SteveRam3. I usually get to all of them. Sometimes it takes me a while, but I try to get through and respond to everybody. And with that being said, you guys, though, let's go ahead and dive into these articles, and I'm going to get you caught up on the latest with the push for a fourth stimulus check and this new petition that now has 3 million signatures to get monthly reoccurring stimulus checks. All right, you guys, so link in the description below to this article that just came out today that says $2,000 a month stimulus checks petition reaches 3 million signatures. Now, the article says that in the ongoing campaign to get $2,000 a month stimulus checks, multiple Change.org petitions have collectively amassed nearly 3 million signatures. So about 1% of our nation's population now is saying they support monthly reoccurring checks. Now, as reported by Newsweek, the petitions vary in scope, but they have a reoccurring theme. Get a fourth stimulus check to the American people. Now, according to Newsweek, one of the largest petitions is organized by Stephanie Bonin, a Denver restaurant owner. Now, Bonin wants $2,000 a month stimulus checks for adults and $1,000 a month stimulus checks for each child immediately. Then, she wants them reoccurring stimulus checks to be sent each month until the end of the pandemic, and there are at least 5 other similar petitions that want the U.S. Senate and House to act on a new stimulus package. And this is not a new thing. We've actually heard this from Congress, both in the House and the Senate. There have been proposals put on the table for monthly reoccurring checks for this fourth round of federal stimulus checks. Now, let's also take a look at the White House and what they have to say about it, because I've also heard there's a rumor going around that people are saying that President Biden said that he does not support a fourth stimulus check, which is not the case. What we've actually heard him say is that they are open to it. They said it costs a lot of money to do it, but they said that it's still on the table. And fact of the matter is that we are going to be looking to Congress for that, and that's actually what they mentioned as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage.
Okay, and then separately on a fourth stimulus check idea that is supported by dozens of Democrats in Congress. I know a month ago you said, stimulus checks aren't free and it's really up to Congress to decide whether to move forward on that. I'm wondering at this point, does the president support that idea, or does he believe that his American Jobs and Families Plan provide enough economic assistance that a fourth stimulus wouldn't be necessary?
Well, I think as I said at the time, I should say, when you asked us before, the president is certainly open to a range of ideas. There are some who are proposing an elimination of the SALT deduction. I think I said it the right way. And there are some who are proposing making the child tax credit permanent. There are some who are proposing additional stimulus. He's happy to hear from a range of ideas on what would be most effective and what's most important to the economy moving forward. But he's also proposed what he thinks is going to be most effective for the short term, for putting people back to work, to getting through this pivotal period of time, and also to making us more competitive over the long term.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, as we heard them say they're open to it. She said that before they had said they're going to be leaving it up to Congress. Didn't say they support it, didn't say they don't, but they said that they're open to a range of ideas, and President Joe Biden has included provisions that he thinks will be most helpful. Now, we have also had researchers come out and say that out of all the provisions that have been included, stimulus checks have been the #1 for keeping families out of poverty. And they've said that a fourth and potentially a fifth stimulus check could be the answer to helping keeping people out of poverty. Now, we will see if a stimulus check is included, but one thing is for certain, that is President Joe Biden has promised that there will be more stimulus in the form of this infrastructure package. Now, stimulus check is just one portion of the stimulus package, and we'll see if it's included, but he also promised this on a global scale. Take a look. World leaders back Biden. G7 call for more economic stimulus. We have top 7 countries in the world saying that they're all together going to be providing more stimulus. So you can expect to see more stimulus packages, and we will see if a fourth check is included. But of course, as you know, the presidency is simply one portion of Congress. We also have the House and the Senate, and we actually heard from the White House saying that they're going to be leaving it up to Congress. They're going to be leaving it up to lawmakers to see what they decide on a fourth stimulus check. And we saw articles come out like this. Fourth stimulus check. White House says possible payments are up to Congress. Well, where does Congress stand? Well, take a look. Here's an article that came out last month that says fourth stimulus check. Over 80 lawmakers now support further direct payments to Americans, and that's in the form of a fourth stimulus check. The article says that as the IRS gears up for the distribution of the child tax credit payments, which is something totally separate, just to clarify, those child tax credits are not the fourth federal stimulus checks. That's a different provision that's coming as a tax rebate in advance in the form of a monthly check, which is essentially a stimulus check, but it is not the federal ones that we're discussing. It says Democratic lawmakers are hoping that they'll send out another direct payment in the form of a fourth stimulus check. Also, in the Senate, we're hearing that meet the 28 lawmakers who want to make stimulus checks reoccurring in Biden's infrastructure plan. In Biden's infrastructure plan, the one that's happening right now, we're hearing there's 28 people in the Senate that want to include monthly reoccurring checks. Now, as you know, that's only about a fourth of the Senate, so that's not enough to get it passed, but if Democrats all get on board, they'll only need 50, so they're more than halfway there. So that's where things currently stand in the House and in the Senate and in Congress. Now, the proposals that are currently on the table, there are 2 for reoccurring stimulus checks. Now, the first one here, 4 stimulus checks. Senators Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren push President Joe Biden for $2,000 monthly checks. And what they want to have is $2,000 monthly checks going out per person to people throughout the course of the pandemic. And another one that came out in the House came from Rashida Tlaib and Jayapal. They introduced the ABC Act, or the Automatic Boost to Communities Act. And what this one proposes is that everybody would receive $2,000 per person, and then after that we would receive $1,000 per person throughout the course of the pandemic, and then even 1 year after it is officially announced over. So you guys, these are some of the suggested provisions for a forced stimulus check. Now, as you just saw, we now have that petition also pushing this. So we have Congress, we have this petition from the people, and we will see if the White House gets on board. And now we have the infrastructure bill in the middle of negotiations, and we're going to see what gets passed, and whatever does, it's going to be through that process of reconciliation. We're hearing that Democrats are going to pass it through with the majority vote. So regardless of what we hear from conservative GOP leaders, it's likely that Democrats are going to push this through. So the focus for a forced stimulus check needs to be viewing what it is that Democrats say about a forced stimulus check. And you guys, that is where things currently stand with fourth federal level stimulus checks or direct payments to people. Now, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date here on the channel, as you guys know, as more information rolls out. And also, as they mentioned, the child tax credit. That's going to be coming up here in about a week. I'll get you guys the latest details on that, what you need to know to make sure that you get those monthly reoccurring checks for your children. Also, what's going on with unemployment, with the tax refunds, the unemployment tax refunds, and all this stuff. I'll keep you up to date here on the channel. And once again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, don't forget, smash that like button. And if you want to stay up to date and you're not already a part of the viewing community, come and join the Ram fam. Smash that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Be sure to follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. And if you want to get some free stocks and cryptos right now, use the links in the description below. And if you want to see which ones I'm trading in real time, be sure to join that Patreon group as well. And with that being said, you guys, I hope this reaches you well. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.